Welcome back to Success and Equity on BCTV. I'm your host, Francis Mayer. And we were talking to Miss Knowles this morning. She's what we call a returning student. You didn't come directly out of high school. You started a family. And I can't stop talking about this because first of all, I'm jealous. I wish I lived on 40 acres and had a wife that I called Ma who had 16 children like your grandmother did. 16 children. 4 north of a dozen. 2 8s. 4 times 4. 16. That's out of control. And I told you I come from a really small family, so like nobody looks like me. I feel like an orphan. But you came from this family where people spot you straight away and know what clan you're from, and that is outstanding. That is wonderful.
That's exactly what it is, a clan. Yeah, my mom and dad had 4 kids. I'm
today is a pretty doggone big family.
Exactly. So I'm the second child of 4. 2 girls, 2 boys. So yeah, we were pretty small, but put us with everybody else, and you couldn't even tell.
Yeah, just a mess of cousins.
We're just 4 added on to the mess of cousins that I have. Yes,
all of you.
Right.
Yes. No, that's
and
great.
We're all really close, so it's good. And now that their kids are getting older, also and are in college, and so by me being on the BC campus, I see them, and my nephew, and a lot of the other kids that grew up with my kids and my daughter's high school friends, and they're all on campus. Good? They're being really good. I am really, really proud of them because nowadays it's really hard to convince kids to go to college because they think it's a waste of time.
Well, they think that they're going to incur a ton of debt,
exactly.
And there are expensive ways to go to school. BC is not one of them.
It is not. It is not.
For what you get in return, it is a stone bargain.
Exactly. So, it comes down to the support that the parents give their kids while they're in school, and how they, tell them how important it is to get an education nowadays.
Right.
Because right now you have to have a food certificate to work at, a fast food place. Pretty soon you're going to need a degree.
You're absolutely
to flip
correct.
burgers.
When you think about that for a minute, I remember when I was 14 or 13, maybe I got a paper route. I rode a bicycle around and threw papers on people's lawns. Now that's an adult job that you have to have an automobile to do. And I think about the world we live in today, and there's no way with all the lawsuits and stuff that people would be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let a kid ride a bicycle around with these 2 weighted bags on the handlebars and throw newspapers on people's porches.
Exactly.
It just wouldn't happen. And like you said, you do need a food handling certificate to work, a lot of places.
Yeah, so education it's important. It really is.
But when we say education is important too, when you get that food certificate, you learn about salmonella and you learn about proper hygiene. So really, the whole reason that our civilization has advanced, by the way, before you say, what's that? How important is that? The fact that we have a clean water supply is what has allowed our species to advance.
Exactly.
If we hadn't learned about bacteria and germs or made an association between doing certain things before eating, we wouldn't have made it past a certain level. Right? We would have died. So hygiene is huge and important, and a very fundamental way that education improves life. But education improves your life in other ways. It shows you that there's a lot more out there to enjoy.
Exactly. Me. It's a wide range of things that you can do, and we've come so far from mothers being at home and taking care of the kids. Now mothers they're educators.
Yeah.
They're doctors, they're lawyers, and their families, engineers, and their families are coming up. So of course you have to tell your kids how important education is, because if it wasn't for education, we probably wouldn't even be here, because we'd have no doctors, nobody would be able to help us heal.
Yeah, no engineers,
right.
Nobody to tell us, hey, that's dangerous.
We'd be still living in mud huts and things like that. So so we've come a long way, and I like to instill the importance of education, and not only my kids, but the kids that I come in contact with. And that's why I loved working Summer Bridge, and I love pushing kids to be their best, to go far, to not give up, and to succeed, because that is a seed that I want to plant.
And it might be the most important seed. A lot of the problems that we have in our culture today are not because people are too smart.
Right.
Nobody was like, oh, they got all that learning in them. And look at them now; they're just turning everything upside down.
Correct.
Usually, it's ignorance that perpetuates a lot of problems, lack of understanding, and fear, and acting on fear. And when you get an education, you act on knowledge more often.
Exactly. And then sometimes that can be a challenge too, because then people will be like, "Oh, you got a little education. Now you're
Yeah, now you're trying to tell me how to live my life."
right."
My dad worked in the mill the whole time I was growing up, and he has celebrated the fact that he's not really into the books,
Right.
but he has a ton of common sense, and I think that's uncommon these days. But it's why he's made it as far as he has.
Oh
Yeah, he's
gosh.
super duper honest, but yeah, he's not troubling himself with catching up on the classics or
Yeah.
anything.
Well, on the other hand, my dad has a doctorate in theology,
Oh, does
so
he really?
Very educated man. So when you talk to him, you have to
Step
you
it
know,
up.
You have to have that,
Yeah.
And he can really him and my second daughter. She's 16 and she's already declared she's a psychology major, and they can chop it up and just go for hours.
See,
you
connecting
know
generations.
exactly. So they're on the same page, and I'm like, okay, I'm living with my dad because she will take you there all the time. You have to, be correct with her. You know.
Yes,
So
yes.
and it's hilarious because we just.
When your kids start explaining things to you, it is strange.
Exactly.
My daughter is bright, whip smart, and she's kind of she explained Doctor Who to me, this science fiction show that's pretty well thought out. I had no idea what this was about. A number of my peers do, and she turned me on to it. She taught me about these mouths that are on the underside of leaves. They're called stomata. It's how the plant breathes. Yeah, it was incredible. Just blew me away.
Yeah.
So we do need to keep up with our children because
We do.
there'd be nothing worse than them getting ahead of us before their time. So what is your major and what is the end game for you?
My major is nursing. I'm a
Okay.
nursing major. I have a couple of classes left, and then I can apply to the program. So I'm trying to, get them out of the way. But in the meantime, I'm trying to do as much as I can on campus to make sure while I'm there, I'm pushing students to succeed. I'm
And
trying to.
how are you doing that?
I am a peer mentor.
Oh, wonderful.
With equity and inclusion, yes. So we have been working all summer to get geared up to help students returning and also students right out of high school to help them with the matriculation process and to be leaders to help them through the process, not only to get started, but all through, their college career while they're there. We know BC is only a 2-year college, but we know some people, as myself, we're there longer than 2 years sometimes. So it's giving them the support that they need will help them succeed.
Now, and
So-
you're absolutely correct. And there's a difference between someone who wants to take a bird watching course to enrich themselves, or they're like, next year I'll take painting. But we're talking about folks who maybe they're going on the 10-year mark and they're like, no, I think I'm changing my major again.
Change my major again.
We want to help
Exactly.
them get a degree and get into if not necessarily into the workforce, into a position where they can enact positive change in the community, which is what you're doing with equity and inclusion. You're a peer mentor. How many mentees do you have? How does that work? What do you do?
Well,
with them?
we work with all the students. They have designated mentors, but we work with all the students, in trying to get them enrolled and tell them about the different programs that we have. We know some students are coming in and they do have children, so we get them linked up with childcare. If they need jobs, we just point them in the right direction, And I like working in the administration building right in the Welcome Center because, soon as we have parents that came in the summer with their child to get them enrolled in BC, and their kids look like they're a deer in headlights, and so did the parents because they didn't know they didn't know what to do. So we were there to welcome them. Welcome. How can I help you? And yeah, we want to get them enrolled, and so we help them through the steps, and it's really helpful when you have somebody there that has been through the steps that can help you through the steps, because it's nothing worse than the blind leading the blind. So that's why I was like, okay, I would love to help the students that come in, and we also did the summer bridge, and that was awesome. And we want that to get bigger. More students should be coming through summer bridge. That way, their first experience on campus won't be a terrifying one.
Right, and Summer Bridge is where you are going to show them where they need to be, where they need to go, and how everything's going to work when they do come to school the first day.
They learn Inside BC. They learn how to.
Inside BC is the login. You can do so many things through your smartphone or through your laptop. It's ridiculous.
They learn how to, order their books, they pick their classes, and then we take them on the tour of the campus, showing them where their classes will be.
You
they
take
print
them in
out
the golf carts?
No, we're walking.
Oh.
There's not enough room on a golf course. We need a train golf cart. So,
I use a golf cart a lot.
the kids
That's
that
why
come
I'm
into the
getting
Welcome
heavy.
Center with their parents that do want a tour, then most likely they'll take them on the golf cart. The cart.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
They are.
They're not golf carts.
They're not golf
just
carts. They're
Unless
just
you're
carts.
heading to the soccer practice field during golf class, then it might be a golf cart. But the rest of the time, it's just a cart.
Right.
Well, Ms. Knowles, thank you so much for being on the show. You're an interesting person. You have a lot of energy. If you're somebody who could benefit from the Equity and Inclusion program, swing by the Equity and Inclusion offices there in administration, right down the hallway from enrollment, right there.
Right.
And then Victor is sitting there in by Amber's office. Nice guy, great mustache, always sharp dressed. And then we have our little lobby up there.
Yeah. Well, we have the outreach that's there
Yeah.
now also, and outreach is working hand in hand with equity and inclusion also. So
right when you walk in the door, though,
That
there's
whole-
people ready to help you.
that whole administration building
is
is
set up for help now.
set up
You
for
walk
help.
in and somebody's going to be like, "Do you need something?" Tell them what you need. Don't lie.
Exactly.
Just tell them what you need.
Exactly.
Perfect. Ms. Knowles, thank you so much for being on the
You're
show.
so
I appreciate
welcome.
you coming.
Thank you for having me here.
And she's going to go out to the loyal Mr. Knowles. 21 years they've been married. See, stick it out.
Stick it out.
Yeah, don't be one of those quitters. Anyway, we're going to be right back. We're going to check in with Belle and the intern and talk about some new stuff we're bringing to the show. Don't go anywhere. More Success and Equity on BCTV is up next.